Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to check out KASPA's price chart. And I think the last time that we talked about KASPA, we were right around the lows. And the idea was that we are probably going to get a decent move on the upside, but we need to be a bit patient and careful, since in here we are having maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulsive structure down from the highest side, meaning what? This phase might be the beginning of a new move down, and that's why we said, look, if we get a move up in KASPA, we need to pay full attention to the shape of that move. And well, as you can see here, we got that move up. Now here's the situation. I think the picture in here is quite complicated. Why? Because you see, if you want to say that we are having our final lower at this area, then okay, off of the lowest low in this region in terms of Elliott's wave, you need to be able to find a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this specific structure is called an impulse. Rules for it are, we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of 5 wave, wave 3 should not be the smallest wave. Now, sometimes we can have other kinds of 5 waves, and for example, we want to talk about, in this scenario, having a leading diagonal in form of a wedge, which looks like this. This is our initial move into wave 1, correction for 2, good move up into wave 3. It has to be smaller than 1, correction for 4. Now, unlike this impulsive structure, in here, we must have overlapping of the waves between our wave 4 and 2, and also wave 4 has to be smaller than wave 2, and this is our final move up into wave 5, and it must be the smallest wave in this structure. And I think in KASPA, there is actually an argument to be made for having something like this off of the recent lowest low. And okay, so you see, before I hit the record, I actually done some measurements, and I do think this does actually fall into the category of, excuse me, having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave. Now, in terms of the subwaves, okay, that might be a bit of a challenge, since in here I think we may end up having just an ABC and not a 5 wave. And like, do not get me wrong, let's actually real quick go on 5-minute time frame. You see, I might be sort of kind of able to argue that this is 1, 2, wave 3 to about here, correction for 4, another move on the upside into wave 5, but this does look a bit odd. So what is it that I'm trying to tell you? You see, you can even be bullish in KASPA and argue that, I don't know, maybe this is like a double zigzag structure and the low of our correction is already in, and for example, on a higher degree, this is 1, this is 2, and after this phase is over, what are we going to have? Hopefully a massive move up into wave 3, 4, 5. Now, here's a very important point. In an ideal scenario, I actually do not like this thing, because I do believe that we are going to continue our move down, since in here, in this initial phase, we are having kind of a strong move on the downside, and I think maybe this is going to be like 1, 2 to about this point, wave 3, correction for 4, another move on the downside into wave 5, and sure, maybe in the next 12 hours, you are going to see a bit of a bounce. But if this thing ends up being a very slow and choppy move on the upside, you know what, you need to be careful, because at that point, this is going to suggest, look, this is 5 down, this is correction up. Well, you are having a bit of a bearish setup, suggesting we're going to have another move down, correction up, and even afterwards, another move on the downside, in order to, I would say, at least take this important look down here about 8.1 cents. But are we going to go a whole lot lower at that point? I'm really having my doubts about that. So for like very, very short term, I think you need to count on a bounce, but pay attention to the shape of that bounce. If this ends up being a slow move up, then okay, at that point, count on a continuation of the move up. And like we said before, maybe on a higher degree, we are having in here 5 wave down into A, correction for wave B, and well, what's next? Probably another move down into C, in order to take this important low about 8.1 cents. Ultimately, if you want to be more bullish than me and you want to say that I am wrong and we're not going to have that much of a strong move down, then okay, in the next, I'm going to say probably 24 to about 48 hours, you want to see something like this, a very strong bounce back, in order to at least take this important high for the first target about 9 cents area. If we do that, then okay, at that point, I think I should change my tone a bit and count on like a 1-2 scenario in here to be in play. But for now, maybe not so much. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in KASPA. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.